Men judge more by the eye than by the hand. The room is loud until you go still. Numbers wobble, voices sprint, and everyone tries to read your face for a discount. You don't give them one. You breathe once, slide one page aside, and make a single call. No speech, no drama. The room recalibrates because you did not. The price of panic rises. The value of silence compounds. Your composure is not kindness. It is a signal that edits other people's math. Understand the optics of nerves. People do not need to know your feelings to price your position. They need to guess your limits. When your jaw tightens, when your reply speeds up, when you explain instead of ask, you donate leverage. Screenshots collect, rivals take notes, allies hesitate. But when you speak once and move once, curiosity replaces intrusion. The person who needs reassurance pays. The person who can wait collects. In a crisis, a still face is a lighthouse. Ships adjust. The rock does not. Leverage lives in tempo. The fast player bleeds bargaining power through small cuts, overpromising to stop discomfort, accepting bad terms to stop silence, talking to stop doubt. The slow player harvests information. Delay turns chaos into data. Who calls you first? Who leaks? Who invents a deadline? Who suddenly becomes flexible? You are not avoiding decision. You are choosing a better auction. Acknowledge quickly. Decide slowly. Make the room match your breathing. The more they chase your answer, the cheaper their certainty becomes, and the richer your options grow. Picture 3 scenes. First, the office fire drill. A client threatens to walk unless you reply within the hour. You acknowledge receipt in 2 lines, ask for the specific failure, and propose a call tomorrow with an agenda. Overnight, their tone cools because the theater lost its audience. Second, the relationship trap. You are pushed to define everything at midnight. You do not debate feelings by lamplight. You set coffee at 10 a.m. with clear terms and boundaries. The conversation becomes a contract instead of a performance. Third, the public pile-on. You acknowledge once, wait 24 hours. Release one clean statement with receipts, and say nothing else. Your critics begin to contradict each other, while your allies organize around the single page you wrote. The point is not to feel nothing. The point is to feed them nothing usable. Your anger, your fear, your hurt, keep them as private data. Study them. Fold them into preparation, but do not offer them as public fuel. When your opponent can time you by your pulse, you are already priced. When you are unreadable yet consistent, they must price your standards instead. That is how outcomes move in your direction without your voice getting louder. Adopt the rule that governs this episode. Emotions are private data. Outcomes are public decisions. Your feelings belong to your notebook, your counselor, your training, your sleep. Your decisions belong to the page, the table, the contract. Separate the two, and your world steadies. You will find that people respect the person who can absorb heat without emitting smoke. You will also find that respect arrives not as applause, but as better offers and fewer tests. You will be accused of being cold. You are not. You are warm in the right places, in preparation, in truth, in delivery. You are simply not edible. The moment you become a snack for other people's anxiety, you will be eaten regularly. Let your boundaries feed your calm. Let your timing protect your focus. Let your words be small, heavy, and delayed enough to be believed. And when you finally act, let the act be the message others replay, not the feelings they harvested on the way there. Remember what makes you unbreakable. Not a stone heart, but a sealed fuel tank. Stillness is your firewall. Tempo is your shield. Terms are your blade. You do not beg the room to calm down. You force the room to take your pace. Emotions are private data. Outcomes are public decisions. Men in general judge more from appearances than from reality. You were told that trust is built by radical openness, instant replies, and saying yes with a smile. In practice, those habits make you predictable to others and expensive to yourself. People stop meeting you as a person and start using you as a system. The solution is not coldness, it is control. You choose what is shown, when you respond, and what your kindness costs. Begin with vulnerability theater. Honest self-knowledge is quiet and disciplined. It is you mapping your patterns so your patterns do not hijack your choices. Oversharing is different. It is disclosure, used as currency, cheap intimacy to buy approval, sympathy, or cover. In a culture that rewards exposure, you are pushed to speak before you integrate. You confess a wound, the crowd applauds, and rivals take notes. They learn pressure points: fear of being ignored, fear of abandonment, fear of public shame. Consider the stand-up, where you call yourself chaotic but passionate to seem humble. A month later, a late deliverable is pinned to your own joke, or the date where you narrate old betrayals to show honesty. Weeks later, your partner flirts just enough to awaken your story and control your pace. Vulnerability that is not integrated becomes instruction. You handed out the blueprint to your lock and ask the world to be gentle. Keep the mirror, not the megaphone. Share from integration, not impulse. Ask 3 questions before you disclose. Have I digested this? Is the listener trustworthy? What outcome requires this information? If the answer is vanity, pity, or speed, close your mouth. Real healing makes you less readable, not more. You are still known, but by those who earn the key. Next, the lie of urgency. Clocks are weapons because time squeezes judgment. Ping, culture, last-minute EOD requests, and emergency emojis train you to move fast for other people's life on convenience while they move slow when it pays. Sales floods your inbox with a "today only" discount. Procurement takes a month to sign your counter. A partner texts, "We need to talk now," then goes silent when you ask for terms. Speed for you, elasticity for them. This is not collaboration. It is leverage against your anxiety. Detect the artificial clock. Ask who set it, who benefits, and what fails if you refuse it. Real deadlines tie to realities: shipping windows, regulatory filings, perishable inventory. Fake ones tie to optics and insecurity. Test them. Request a written extension paired with a reciprocal give, or move the decision to a public calendar with the right witnesses. If the urgency evaporates under light, it was theater. You do not need to be rude. You need to be paced. Create response windows that protect accuracy and reputation. Reply, inset blocks. Triage signals. Emergencies with proof, business with dates, social with space. Teach people how to use your time. Decisions Tway, Thursday docs, by 6 p.m. Reviewed next day. When the world learns your rhythm, respect rises and panic falls. The urge to answer instantly is not service. It is a tell that you fear being forgotten. Finally, kindness without terms. Nice is easy to demand and impossible to repay. Without defined limits, niceness becomes a discount stamped on your time, status, and attention. People rarely plot. They flow. They follow the slope you give them. If your slope says, "Ask me anything, anytime," the stream will carve a canyon through your week. At work, quick questions colonize your mornings. You fix what others ignore because rescue feels good. Soon, rescue is your brand, and brands get exploited. Your calendar looks generous and your metrics look thin. At home, you offer emotional labor on tap, listening and soothing without asking for energy back. Your kindness builds dependence while your goals gather dust. This is not love, it is logistics with a smile. Redefine trust as rules plus enforcement. A rule without enforcement is a wish. Enforcement without a rule is cruelty. Put both together, and people relax. They know where they stand with you. Write terms in plain speech. I'm available 10:12 for deep work questions. Otherwise, file a ticket. I don't discuss our relationship by text. Schedule a call. I leave parties when I planned, even if others stay. These are not walls. They are doors that open and close on schedule. Practice small, visible corrections. When someone skips the process, send them back through it. When a friend calls at 2 a.m. for non-emergencies, decline and respond at noon. When a stakeholder demands a same-day turn, trade scope, or change the date. Every tiny enforcement deposits clarity in the account. Your reputation compounds. Generous, yes. Exploitable, no. This is not a call to secrecy or coldness. It is a call to sovereignty. You are not a glass house. You are a fortress with a gate. You share the courtyard freely. You protect the keep. You reply with care, on a cadence that preserves accuracy. You give kindness that has terms, so it can repeat without resentment. The result is not distance, it is depth. The people who stay will be those who want you, not those who want your constant availability. If you want a script, decide what you will share. Decide your response windows. Write the rules that protect your energy, and enforce them even when your stomach tightens. The first weeks will feel like loss. Then something quiet happens. Your work gets sharper. Your phone gets lighter. Your words carry weight because they are not sprayed on demand. You stop living as a feed and start living as a person. Radical openness, instant replies, and approval-seeking do not build trust. They create predictability for others at your expense. Trust comes from clear signals that repeat under pressure. You say what you mean. You act when you say. You protect what you promise. The world will still judge by appearances. Let them. Your reality will be governed by terms you chose. Guard your gate. Answer on your time. Make kindness a contract. It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Your power rarely breaks under a siege. It leaks in habits, fast breath, too many words, cheap prices, public fights that prove nothing, abandonment, fear, humiliation, sensitivity, status, anxiety, and scarcity. Needs sit behind your face like quiet ministers. They whisper, hurry. They make relief look like wisdom. An enemy does not need to outthink you if they can pull on these strings. They do not need a better plan if they can speed you up. Begin with a trigger inventory. Be forensic, not poetic. Fast breath is the first alarm. Your chest rises high, your voice thins, syllables stack, and you rush to fill silence. That physiology announces you will trade time for comfort. Over-explaining follows. You flood the room with reasons, apologize before asking, and offer background nobody requested. It does not persuade. It reveals the corners where you fear pressure. Then comes price dropping. At the first hint of hesitation, you volunteer discounts, free add-ons, or loose terms to keep the conversation warm. That is not generosity. It is a tell that you fear walking away. Mark these three, and you will know when your plan is being traded for comfort. Make the inventory operational. Under heat, perform 3 small moves. First, drop your breath to the belly for 2 full cycles. Second, lower the voice by half a note. Third, ask one narrow question before any explanation. What exact outcome do you need? Which point is unclear? What would make this a yes? Questions slow tempo and force specifics. Specifics shrink manipulation. You are not acting calm. You are creating conditions where judgment can arrive before your face moves. Need is a leash. When you crave being chosen, understood, or liked, Other people hold your timing and your price. In deals, the need to be chosen becomes deadline panic. If we sign today, I can shave 10%. You buy speed and sell leverage. In teams, the need to be understood turns updates into confessions. You overshare weaknesses so no one misreads you. Those weaknesses appear in the next negotiation. In romance, the need to be liked bends boundaries. You donate access and gifts to stop uncertainty. You feel moral. You are simply readable. Those who want your margin will light the clock, flatter your helpfulness, or go quiet until your leash tightens your throat. Tie neediness to losses you can count. Track the discount percentage you volunteer when someone waves a clock. Track how many extras you add just to avoid silence. Track how often you reply outside your stated window because you feared losing the thread. Build restraints that fire automatically. Set walkaway numbers before the call. Define response windows and obey them. Replace, "I hope this works for you," with, "Here are the terms, confirm by Thursday noon." If they push for faster, say, "We don't move under clocks." Mechanisms beat moods. Pre-commitment beats panic. Humiliation loops are the fastest way to sell tomorrow for relief today. A public slight lands, someone questions competence on a panel, mocks your price, clips you out of context, pride ignites, and you perform. You list plans, reveal timelines, promise bonuses, or offer refunds that no one requested. The audience claps, the rival smiles, and your calendar, margin, and negotiating position shrink. Performance leaks data. Rivals bank it. They learn where your schedule is thin, which clients are sensitive, and exactly how to squeeze you next. Break the loop by designing boring strength. In public, scope instead of defend. We'll speak to deliverables in Q3. Details belong in the working session. In meetings, partition the tension. There are 3 issues, let's order them. After a hit, institute. Cooling windows. No statements inside 24 hours. No concessions inside 72. If a correction is necessary, make one. Make it small, and make it once. Your aim is not applause. Your aim is to keep the plan alive long enough to win. Relief is expensive. Resilience is profit. Now the triad. Mirror, mask, knife. Mirror means you spot the wound in real time and name it. This is abandonment fear. This is status panic. This is humiliation barking. Naming moves the wound from driver to passenger. Train micro reps. When typing bubbles appear, say the name. Breathe low. Wait 1 minute. When the room goes quiet after your price, say the name. Sip water. Ask a question. The body learns that silence is not danger. Mask is optics under discipline. You are not lying. You are choosing the frame. Your mask is a visible rule set. Steady tempo, short sentences, questions before claims, written follow-ups, deadlines you keep. Publish your rhythm so the world learns how to meet you. A clean mask makes you unreadable where it matters and predictable where it counts. That is not deception, that is governance. Knife is the cut one behavior you will never do again. Choose a single rule that removes your favorite leak. I will never volunteer a discount unprompted. I will never respond publicly inside 24 hours. I will never justify beyond 1 sentence. Etch it where you will not miss it. The knife hurts at first, then it frees. Every time the urge surges, you feel the edge and keep your crown. Stitch the method to your day. A client says, another vendor can do it faster. Mirror. Status anxiety. Mask. We keep quality by keeping sequence. Earliest start is the 15th. Knife. No unprompted discount. A date says, you reply slow. Mirror. Abandonment fear. Mask. I respond 9, 7. If that rhythm doesn't fit, we may not align. Knife. no after-hours texts. A rival posts a jab. Mirror, humiliation sensitivity. Mask, silence until your window. Knife, one statement tomorrow tied to facts. You keep the schedule and the throne. Remember the deeper point. The enemy is not the other side. The enemy is your leash. Abandonment, fear whispers that silence is loss. Humiliation sensitivity says doubt must be crushed in public. Status anxiety insists the room will forget you unless you dazzle. Scarcity need claims this is the last chance you will ever see. They all chant one command, hurry. They are all wrong. The long game belongs to those who hear the drum and refuse to march. None of this requires cruelty or cold blood. It requires procedure, inventory, the triggers that broadcast need. Cut the leash by pre-committing to numbers, windows, and scope. End humiliation loops with cooling periods and single, boring corrections. Carry the triad everywhere. Mirror the wound. Mask with discipline. Cut with the knife. You will feel less dramatic and more dangerous. Your face will stop moving first. Your strategy will live long enough to pay. Hold the line. Let time work. Power leaks fastest through the wound you hurry to hide. It starts with tempo, not truth. A small provocation taps your bruised place, a vague post, a sly joke in the meeting, a quick question that smuggles an accusation. You answer instantly. The reply is longer than your role requires, warmer than your position allows. In that rush, you reveal need, the hunger to be cleared, understood, forgiven. Your opponent does not attack the facts. He rewrites the frame. The new story is not what happened, but why are you so eager? In one heartbeat you drift from author to defendant. Your words stop building and start testifying against your calm. Walk the minutes. 0, the jab. 1, the paragraph. 3, for context, you leak private details that never belonged in daylight. 5, he answers with one cool sentence. 7, you escalate to screenshots and subtext. 9, he asks a short question that widens the hole. 12, you contradict a clause from minute 1. 15, you begin the apology tour for tone, then content, then intention. 20, your leverage is gone. Pace is power. The fastest voice becomes the easiest to steer. Make pace non-negotiable. If they set the hour, you set the format. If they set the format, you set the hour. Silence can be a shield. It can also be a stage you own when you choose it. Then the contradiction cascade. Haste splits you into versions. At noon you appeal to principle. At 2 you tell a personal story. At 6 you carve an exception. None is a lie. Together they look like one. Screenshots travel faster than corrections. An edited sentence at 1-3 lives forever, in 10 group chats by 1-4. A softening meant as courtesy becomes leverage. You admitted X, therefore you owe Y. Volatility manufactures evidence. The archive turns prosecutor. Your own timeline cross-examines you. Cure it with structure. Answer the charged claim, not its orbit. Use nouns and dates, not fog and mood. Say it once, clearly, with proof and stop. Your wounds want theatre. They beg you to rehearse your worth in public, to pour feeling where proof should stand. Decline the stage. Do the review in private. Present one page when ready. Truth moves slowly but settles heavily. It needs room, not noise. Remember, every sentence you send under the rule of pain will be filed under the rule of record. You are not only speaking to today's crowd, you are furnishing tomorrow's evidence. Next comes coalition erosion. Allies are not a chorus, they are risk managers. When your temper taxes their calendars, they hedge. Not because they hate you, because volatility is contagious. Investors flee unstable charts. Partners step back from unstable leaders. Patience signals reliability. The steady hand attracts patient partners because it lets them plan. Make your rhythm predictable under pressure. Promise, I will speak once, clearly, after I verify. Keep it. Send direct updates to your inner circle before anything public, so they are never blindsided by your impulse. Protect them from surprise, and they will protect you from isolation. Notice how the room changes when you are still. The loudest onlookers grow bored. The serious ones step closer. A measured one-paragraph statement pulls moderates who respect boundaries. A clean refusal to litigate private matters in public invites people who play long games. Your critics grow cautious when they cannot read your pulse. Calm is not a mask, it is custody of your field. It tells the room there will be no bargains with hysteria, no discounts on your name, no auctions of your dignity for claps. Now face and price. Lost face is not poetry, it is a bill. Markets write it in numbers, worse terms, shorter leashes, closer oversight. A founder who panics online pays with valuation. Buyers sense distress and discount accordingly. A team lead who flails in chat earns daily check-ins and frozen budgets. A partner who bargains from apology discovers that every concession becomes an anchor for the next demand. Reputation, debt compounds. The more you overpay today to end discomfort, the more expensive tomorrow becomes. People who trade against you watch your breath rate. If you breathe fast, they widen the spread. Quantify the cost of breaking. Count the doors your hurry will close. The mediator who would have called in your favor. The price that would have held if you had waited a week. The face-saving exit that required silence. Impatience buys you the relief of motion and invoices you for the loss of position. In negotiation, the first frantic thread gives the other side your baseline. In leadership, the first public contradiction gives your detractors a script. In love, the first performative apology buys applause and sells out the privacy where repair was possible. Relief is a cheap sugar, position is the bread you live on. Practice visible constraint. Design your ladder before the storm. Step 1. Clear rule, written and simple. Step 2. Private warning with the rule quoted and the clock stated. Step 3. Measured consequence on schedule. Step 4. Restoration path visible to all. Cold process, warm tone, no sarcasm, no public humiliation. You are building a culture where mercy lives inside structure, not outside it. When boundaries are felt, the room polices itself. You do not have to become a cop to everyone's mood. Your allies return because your cadence can be trusted. Your critics quiet because the cost of performance is finally real. Modern examples are blunt. A client drags a discount fight onto social media. You want to clap back. You don't. You move the exchange to the contract and respond once with terms and dates. A junior manager performs insolence for likes. You skip the speech, issue a written correction, then enforce it on Friday at noon. An ex posts a personal story. You refuse the theater. You say one line to the only person, owed an answer, and close the door. Each choice seems small. Together they say, you run your hour, no one else does. Return to the beginning. Wounds steer the wheel only when you drop the reins. Your shadow wants quick relief. Your office requires long memory. Make one rule the driver time. Time to cool the blood. Time to harden facts. Time to shape language that fits bone, not feeling. When you govern the clock, the frame is yours. When you govern the frame, the price is fair. When the price is fair, coalitions endure. The crowd will forget the noise. Your partners will remember the posture you held when the noise was loudest. You are not here to win every minute. You are here to own the hour. Protect pace, seal the contradictions, keep your circle steady, and guard your face so your price stays low. Let others gamble on heat. You will compound on calm. Hold the hour, lower the cost. Calm is the table. Terms are the only love that survives heat. Respect before warmth. You can be liked without being respected, praised while quietly ignored. Trust begins where predictability starts. If people cannot forecast you, they hedge against you, and hedging is the first form of distance. Slow your breath. Hold your hours. Make yourself readable. Same tone on Monday and Friday. Same answer to the same question. Your yes and your no mean the same thing at noon and at midnight. Volatility dazzles for a moment. Reliability governs for years. At work, the fun manager who swings from indulgence to sudden crackdowns kills cadence. Tuesday brings jokes. Thursday brings panic. Saturday brings apologies. No one commits because no one can plan. Be the opposite. Publish priorities by noon Monday, midweek check at 5, Friday wrap with next steps. Miss an upstream handoff twice and the scope shrinks automatically. No speeches, no anger, just sequence. In dating, charm can buy a night. Reliability buys a future. If you say you do not argue after 10, you do not, even when you're baited. If you set a plan, you keep it. Predictability is the crown of respect. Terms over hopes. Approval is a breeze. Order is a contract. Convert understanding into rules that outlive moods. Response windows, decision rights, consequences. Set the window. 24 hours for routine, 4 for urgent, none during deep work. Define decision rights. You own product scope. Your partner owns the social calendar. Your friend owns travel logistics, clear lanes, fewer collisions. Specify consequences. Miss 2 updates and the task rolls to the next sprint. Cancel twice in a month, and future invitations require confirmation money. Raise your voice once and the conversation pauses until tomorrow. People learn faster from rules than from lectures. Renegotiate only with new facts. Markets shift, roles change, babies arrive fine, update the terms. But busy, crazy week. And you know how it is, are weather reports, not facts. If you let weather rewrite the contract, the room learns to pay you with storms. Keep the bar where you set it, then adjust only when the world actually moves. Dignity is the discipline to hold a rule you wrote when you were calm. People call that cold until they notice how fair it feels over time. Translate morality into numbers. People understand clocks, budgets, and access far better than sermons about care. The thief of trust is ambiguity. Ambiguity breeds delay, and delay breeds resentment. In a company, we're a family, creates debt with no ledger. Convert it into service levels, response times, and who carries the pager. In politics, leaders who govern by mood create whiplash. Citizens hoard because tomorrow is a coin flip. Publish the law, fix the penalties, set the sunset dates. Peace follows the paper, not the speech. Signals, not speeches. Promises are how people rent trust. Signals are how they buy it. Reduce promises to almost zero and make your value observable. Deliver when you say you will. Keep the boundary when it costs you. Exit cleanly when a condition is broken. You do not need a paragraph to prove seriousness. You need a pattern. Patterns are louder than vows and harder to fake over time. Build a cadence others can see. 2 updates a week, numbers every Friday morning. First of month renegotiation window. A default reply of, "I'll confirm by noon," and then you do. When you miss and you will, you repair without a prompt. Here is the new plan, here is the make good, here is the date. Your signals teach the room your reliability better than any speech about values. Watch theirs too. Do they fix before being asked? Do they shrink the gap next time? Do they honor your no without pushing? The answers tell you everything. Quiet boundaries beat dramatic defenses. You do not need to scold. You need to execute. If a meeting starts 10 minutes late, you end it 10 minutes early. If someone escalates, you pause the conversation and schedule a calmer hour. If a collaborator goes dark for a week, you ship what is ready and downgrade future scope until trust is re-earned. The exit is clean. No sarcasm, no theater, just cause and effect. Over weeks, the room tunes itself to your frequency or quietly leaves. Social life obeys the same arithmetic. We should hang becomes Thursday 6:30 confirmed by noon, or I release the slot. Family guilt becomes I visit the first Sunday. If I'm booked, I see you next month. Dating becomes we check in after 30 days of consistent plans. Escalations push talks to tomorrow. These are small laws that prevent large wars. They are not romantic, but they keep romance alive because nobody has to guess the price. Here is the reframe. It was never unconditional approval holding anything together. It was terms, timing, and enforcement order dressed in warm clothes. When your rules are clear, people who value you can meet them. When your timing is steady, chaos cannot set your rate. When enforcement is calm, even mercy lands cleanly because the law did not evaporate to make room for it. You become a person trusted to keep order, not a person campaigning to be liked. Respect first, then warmth. Process first, then peace. Sit at the table with a steady face. Write what you can keep. Reward signals and ignore speeches. Renegotiate only when the facts change. Then watch the noise fall away. And the right people draw closer to the clock they can trust, to the room that stays quiet, to the life you can govern. Order first, then warmth, and both will last. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Carl Jung. You do not become unbreakable by numbing yourself. You become unbreakable by building a system that can feel without falling. Picture your inner life as weather crossing a mountain. The mountain does not argue with the storm. It stands, channels the water, and remains. This is your aim, not to erase feeling, but to hold form under it. Emotional unbreakability is not coldness. It is design repeated until it becomes reflex. Begin with pre-commitments, the rules you live when heat rises. 3. Written and rehearsed. Never decide at peak emotion. Never negotiate live. Never show surprise. These are not slogans for a wall. They are seatbelts for your nervous system. When adrenaline spikes, you run micro drills. Breathe. 2 rounds, 4 in and 6 out. Shoulders down, jaw neutral, tongue released from the palate. Note. Become the reporter of your moment. Who said what, when, which document, which dollar, which claim. Label the feeling with one word: anger, fear, shame, pride, so you stop being inside it and start being with it. Delay. Use short scripts that buy clarity without bleeding authority. Received reviewing. Update by 4 p.m. I want to give this the right attention. I'll reply tomorrow. Practiced out loud. These lines become muscle memory when your chest is hot. Next. Response windows, the metronome of composure. Acknowledge fast and decide slow. In person, take 1 full breath before any substantive reply. Count it. Let heat drop. Over text, use 3 hours for ordinary matters. For formal issues, take 24 to 48 hours. Communicate the window so silence does not read as surrender. Got this? Verifying numbers. I'll respond by noon. Received written response tomorrow. If someone tries to collapse your window with urgency theater, anchor the frame. Happy to respond after I verify the facts. Expect my note by 4 p.m. You are not evasive, you are governed. Windows prevent you from buying short-term relief with long-term chaos. Information asymmetry is your quiet lab. Ask pointed questions, speak last, Keep messages short and factual, and document as if your future self will need the record. Questions force fog to take shape. Which date did the scope change? Which clause permits that? Who was on the call? What remedy are you seeking in writing? Replace accusation with description, not "you always disrespect," but on 10/12. The call began at 9:05 without the materials due by 8 p.m. One claim per sentence, no adjectives you will regret. Over days, contradictions reveal themselves without you raising your voice. Silence becomes a lens. Time becomes a sieve. Your body is the interface that broadcasts your inner governance. If your face is frantic, your facts won't matter. Train neutral jaw, soft eyes, still hands. Keep shoulders down and back, breath low and steady. Remove the nervous laugh and the head shake that leaks contempt. Practice in a mirror for 5 minutes. Read a hostile sentence and keep the same expression you would use to order coffee. Record 2 calls a week and watch the first minute of your speaking. Strip apologetic filler, slow your pace, land the sentence, build anchors you can trigger under stress. Thumb on pen, exhale through the nose, relax the tongue. Calm becomes visible. Visible calm becomes contagious. When pressure spikes, play crisis chess on 3 boards, in order. Optics first stabilize how the situation looks before you decide what it is. Move to a contained channel. Let's step into the conference room. We'll continue on a single email thread. We'll reconvene at 3 p.m. with notes. Spectators turn sparks into fires. Remove them. Surface area second, stop talking. Make no new claims, no theories, no jokes to lighten the mood. Ask for particulars and write them down. Dates, documents, names, numbers, requested remedy. Reopening third return on your terms with agenda, time, and witness if needed. We'll meet at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Agenda, scope, costs, timeline. Legal will attend. You set the stage, you set the speed. Run the protocol through modern scenes so it lives in muscle, not just mind. A client calls furious at 7:30 p.m. Claims costs doubled, demands agreement. Tonight, pre-commitments fire, no live negotiation, no surprise face. You breathe, note, delay. Response window, acknowledged. Please send the itemized estimate with receipts and the clause permitting adjustment. I'll reply by 10 a.m. Information asymmetry. You request dates and documents rather than trading adjectives. Body as interface. Neutral jaw, soft eyes, still hands. Crisis chess. Move to a single thread. Reduce surface area. Reconvene with an agenda. By morning, either the math holds and you approve, or it does not, and you propose a written remedy. One calm step replaces 100 emotional steps. Another scene, dating. A late night, come now, text lands at 1 a.m. Your shadow wants validation dressed as urgency. Your window saves you. Nights are red by default. Acknowledge, don't answer, let's plan Thursday at 7. If respect returns with a plan, the channel remains open. If pressure returns, boundary executes quietly reduced access, then none. No. Sermon. Your calendar carries your standard. Tenderness survives because chaos is not rewarded. Workplace tension. A manager says you're not collaborative. You pause one breath and ask for examples. You request them in writing. You propose a 2-week probe with weekly check-ins and decisions logged in a shared doc. You speak last in the review, summarizing facts and next steps. Body steady, tone spare. If cooperation improves, you name it and continue. If labels persist without proof, crisis chess reopens with HR present. Unbreakable is not ruthless. It is consistent. Rooms trust the person who can self-correct more than the person who performs certainty. End each day with a short after-action. Did I obey the pre-commitments? Did I keep my windows? Which question produced the most clarity? Where did my face leak? Write one improvement and one win. Repetition beats inspiration. Systems beat moods. Over weeks, your nervous system learns that the pause is safe, the note is power, the question is a light switch, and the still face is a shield. You stop buying relief with regret. Others begin to trust your timing as much as your words. You will still feel. That is the point. Feeling becomes fuel when timing and language carry it. The storm keeps crossing. The mountain keeps standing, channeling, remaining. You stop outsourcing your destiny to the loudest hour of your day. You stop spending your future to buy comfort in the present. Emotional unbreakability is not the end of tenderness. It is the beginning of trustworthy strength. People lean on you because you can feel without capsizing, because your rules hold when the water rises, because your silence has structure and your speech has receipts. Return to the 5 parts whenever you drift. Write the rules in the morning. Protect the windows at noon. Ask for dates and documents in the afternoon. Train your face in the evening. And when the alarm goes off, real crisis, you play your boards in order and you move. Slowly, on purpose. The world rewards the person who can hold a line without raising a voice. That person is built, not born. Feel fully, move slowly, hold the line. He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command. The dividend of delay is real and countable. When your tempo is calm and visible, people can forecast you. Forecasting lowers their risk and raises their offer. You refuse to answer in heat and ask for paper, not promises. The vendor who opened with urgency returns with an itemized bid, a delivery schedule, and a longer warranty because your silence signaled you will not be farmed by alarms. The client who demanded an instant discount brings a larger scope to justify terms. Predictability is profit, and you just made yourself predictable in the ways that matter. Even in personal life, the effect is plain. You wait a day to answer a provocation, and it comes back smaller, shorn of theatre, ready to be solved instead of performed. Time clarifies. Offers improve. When people can see your line and know you will keep it. Delay is not drift, it is design. You set the hour for decisions, the format for requests, the threshold for escalation. You reward early signals and penalize last-minute ambushes. People adapt because the price of ignoring your cadence is higher than the price of joining it. On a calendar, this looks modest: blocked decision windows, weekly reviews, quiet hours, but on a ledger it is dramatic. Fewer meetings, tighter scopes, fewer midnight rewrites called urgent. You trade the dopamine of now for the compound interest of right, and the math appears as fewer reversals, cleaner handoffs, steadier margins. Calm tempo is not a mood, it is a margin strategy. From armor to authority. At first you wore composure like a shield holding your face, counting to 5, swallowing heat so you would not swing wild. Necessary, but not the end. Authority begins when control of nerves becomes control of tempo. You move late and land clean. Your presence edits the room, voices lower, claims sharpen, deadlines turn into dates. You ask for total cost of ownership, for failure modes, for the owner's name. Theatre withers because theatre hates specifics. In negotiation, you decline speed as a weapon. You ask for written terms, clarify exit clauses, and insist on a cooling period before signatures. The other side stops bargaining against your heartbeat and starts bargaining against facts. Your timing becomes policy, and policy is power. Authority is logistics. You design response windows, decision stacks, and exit paths. You choose where to be reachable and for what. You move conversation from chat to document, from document to signature. Your team learns a simple order: facts, options, trade-offs, decision, owner, date. Reversals are rare, and only with new data. You do not rescue reputations with noise. You rescue projects with rules. Over time, the culture stops lobbying your mood and aligns to your method. Vendors stop testing for panic and start preparing for review. Colleagues stop creating emergencies to gain attention because emergencies no longer buy access. Fewer crises, stronger alliances. The dividend of emotional sovereignty is paid in everyone's improved behavior. Now, the quiet crown. Night city beyond the glass. A long table. Too many tabs. Too much air. You arrive on time, neither hurried nor slow. You listen until the first exaggeration collapses under its own weight. Then 3 sentences. What is approved? What is cut? Who is accountable? No performance. No raised voice. The policy you published last quarter does most of the talking. People remember the one time you had to be hard, precise, humane, final, and memory does most of the governance. A manager reaches for noise. You point to the rule and end the debate with a date. The room exhales. Work leaves the building sorted, scheduled, and owned. Your silence ends arguments because everyone knows how you act when it actually matters. This is emotional sovereignty, not numbness, but ownership. You feel the wave and choose when to surf. You trade adrenaline for accuracy. You stop negotiating with panic and start negotiating with plans. Your silence is not absence, it is measured pressure that shapes behavior. Partners cooperate because your boundaries are visible and your consequences arrive on time. Peace stops sounding naive and starts reading like procedure. The mind quiets because the world around you has learned your beat and profits by it. Move late, land clean, and let calm set the terms.